but please enlighten us.
Okay, because they are claiming, which I have seen, that most pumpkin pies, most pumpkin stuff will say 100% pumpkin or contains pumpkin or whatever. But that's actually the title of this is your pumpkin pie probably has no pumpkin in it. Welcome to the Empowering Choices podcast. My name is Joshua.
I'm Lucas.
And I'm Erik.
Lucas and Erik are licensed professional counselors. Now it sounded a little ominous, Erik.
Only the slightest. Like he was trying, but it didn't quite land.
I'm not sure what that was.
No, I was just kind of thinking, about bringing in some Halloween sound.
Okay. Sort of a miss, a start, and then I felt like
I was just thinking about it. But I got your attention.
He was warming up.
Yeah. I was just like,
but we are having
fun
doing these Halloween episodes. I would like to say this is kind of along the lines. Right now, we have this thing going on at my house where at night, sometimes when I go, I get up and go to the bathroom, if my son's still awake, he, wants to follow you in there and whatever. Had the lights completely off. I would go into the bathroom, flip on the light, super bright. I'm in there. Well, he doesn't come in there or do anything, and I don't realize this. He's followed me, but he's just standing in the hallway, in the door, in the pitch black. I use the bathroom. The lights were bright. I turn them off. I can't see anything. And he goes, ah! And I screamed so loud that my wife rewinds one of our surveillance cameras and listens to it over and over and over. And it didn't even faze him. You would have thought it would have scared him. He zero is scared.
Can we get that footage and put it in the podcast?
We should find that because it was a very manly scream. But so he's definitely he's
in the Halloween spirit already.
Yes, totally.
Good.
Yeah.
So we were going to attempt to talk about food and decorations today.
Yeah.
And is there crossover between those things?
I think so.
Decorative food and edible decorations?
Yeah.
Well, there definitely
is. Did I say edible food? That was
you did.
Well, for arts and crafts,
I mean, with some,
Right.
Well, I mean, just as I was out this weekend.
I love those eggs. Show those eggs to the camera. Those are my favorite.
These are great.
Oh, yeah. Those are cool.
I don't remember what they used a straw.
Yeah.
They made hard-boiled eggs and used a straw and
right next to the mummified thing.
Which I think is Josh's favorite.
Yeah. Well, I think
the mummified hot dogs.
Erik was really sad that I said we were going to do it, and then I didn't do that for
I was really sad. That's going to come out of your contract money. We have no contract money.
We'll have them for next year.
Well, and when I was at the store, I saw several magazines over the weekend that are just devoted to Halloween food.
More of this.
Straight. No, Halloween fun is what this
thematically, though.
Yeah, but it was just all food. Just, and so, this is, technically one of the holidays for us in America that, encompasses so many different things, and food and decorations are huge parts of that, which means there's such huge pieces of creativity that you could be able to work with. On the news this morning, they were interviewing a guy who carves pumpkins with a chainsaw.
Oh.
Yeah.
You probably want a small chainsaw or a really big pumpkin.
He didn't do a demonstration, but
that's unacceptable if you're going to do a news story about it anyway.
I totally agree. He's also a wood, carver, with chainsaws, but he's gotten into the pumpkin thing, and it's pretty impressive.
Pumpkin carving with power tools is definitely where it's at.
Right. Yeah. But definitely there's some creativity there, that you could, play with, have fun with. Sometimes we run into people and they're like, oh, I can't do it, or I made a mistake, and
who cares?
Well, and that's what they ask him. Okay, you're using this great big power tool.
Right? Do you ever turn the pumpkin into just
right? You ever make a mistake? And he goes, oh, all the time.
All the time.
He goes, but the more you do it, the more that you're able to learn how to fix a mistake.
Oh, some of them are fixable. Okay.
Or just ignore a mistake because it's just a mistake, and you're doing so much more at that time. Or you just turn the pumpkin around and start over on the other side.
Sure. Or just turn it into pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's the crossover between decorations and food there. Carving pumpkins, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think the kind of bog standard carving a pumpkin and turning it into food would be what? Roasting the seeds.
Roasting the seeds.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big one. You know, I mean, pumpkin pie, I guess you can use, you know, if your pumpkin didn't go well and you know how to be able to use that to make it what they give us in the store. I mean, I have no clue what I'm talking about.
Typically, pumpkin pie is actually usually like some other squash. Pumpkin itself is fairly stringy.
Yes.
Like the meat of a pumpkin usually isn't.
Are you telling me my life is a lie?
I mean, you know.
Should we talk about Santa Claus?
Pumpkin pie is frequently not made from pumpkin. Let's say that.
Okay.
Because it's a very stringy squash.
It's made from stuff in a can that has a pumpkin on it.
There's a pumpkin on the label.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So that's pumpkin.
Well, I mean, I think this is a good thematic joke. So, you know, somebody from like a different culture comes to America and sees a grocery store.
I knew he was going to do this.
They don't know how they don't know how a grocery store works, right? I can't envision a good example for somebody that would be true for somebody from a, you know, I don't know, an indigenous culture or something. And they tell them, okay, how's the grocery store work? Well, the things on the shelf, like the label on the outside tells you what's in the product, right? Because it's a tin can, you can't always tell what's in it, right? And then after a couple of minutes, he just hears a scream from the baby food aisle. You saw the Gerber label.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard renditions of that, you know,
Is there a different good punchline, or is that the one you're familiar with?
No, that is the good punchline.
The baby food aisle.
A different scenario where that has also occurred.
Again, crossover between decorations and food.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you.
Put your baby food jars out for Halloween, and that's just your description is, well, it's baby, it's canned baby.
Well, we're really going dark into Halloween, aren't we?
A little bit.
Yeah, okay.
So that's always my problem is like people want to do like pumpkins and stuff, and then I tell canned baby jokes.
Well, I'm gonna lighten it up by going back just a little bit, but I would like to share that I just found something on Consumer Reports about the pumpkins. Okay.
I'm really curious how Consumer Reports has anything to do with pumpkins, but please enlighten us.
Okay. Because they are claiming, which I have seen, that most pumpkin pies, most pumpkin stuff will say 100% pumpkin or contains pumpkin or whatever. But that's actually the title of this is your pumpkin pie probably has no pumpkin in it. And they're basically,
so you're just verifying
they're basically saying that these different squashes can be considered pumpkin by the FDA, and so that's how they can say that it's pumpkin when it's actually not pumpkin.
It's a butternut squash.
And so it's basically so that's
it's 100% food.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see, even if you buy one that says 100% pumpkin, you think you beat the system.
The chances are
it
may not be.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain, if I recall correctly, that my wife genuinely bought a pumpkin, made pumpkin pie out of it.
Yeah.
Tastes just fine. I mean,
So the very thing that I was saying you could do with a pumpkin if you made a mistake, you said your wife actually did. She bought a pumpkin and she made it into a pumpkin pie?
Well, not exactly and 100% everything that you said. She didn't make an accidental jack-o'-lantern and then turn it into a pie. It was pie from the start.
Right, exactly. That
and
was
actually,
my point.
usually the pumpkins that you buy for jack-o'-lanterns, you usually want something sizable.
Mm-hmm.
If you're making one for eating purposes, it's usually about half that size.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually the bigger a gourd grows, or zucchini are notorious for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they end up being the size of your arm, they're generally not tasty. And pumpkin drifts that direction as well. Overly big is less tasty. Yeah. So an eaten pumpkin is usually more like the size of your head, and a carven pumpkin might be twice that.
I know the thing is to clean it all out, before you carve it. But if you leave some of the stuff in, it actually looks kind of cool.
Sure, you can certainly use pumpkin guts. Yeah. Pumpkin guts as decoration. Yeah. Well, one of the good ones I've seen that's very much using that is you carve a pumpkin and you don't gut it, and you carve a pretty big mouth, and then you pull the guts out through the mouth to make it look like the pumpkin's vomiting.
Classy.
Very.
That's a class act.
Never seen that.
You've not seen that one? No. Yeah. Very good use of pumpkin guts in the decoration. You probably rots a lot faster though.
I'm gonna guess probably so.
I don't know.
You want to do it closer to Halloween.
I don't know what all of the variations are on keeping your pumpkin from rotting, but I think if you use a diluted bleach solution after you're done carving it and spritz the pumpkin with a diluted bleach, it reduces the amount of mold it gets.
That sounds like taking the fun out of Halloween.
Well, I mean, that
Hold
could be
on,
part.
Dad's got to bleach the pumpkins first, kids.
No, this is after you carve them. This is
Okay.
just a preservative.
Got it.
And then I know I've certainly.
Now we got to Mod Podge them. Yeah.
I know I've.
No, we're not
certainly
putting them on the wall.
Yeah.
I know I've certainly seen the video. I've not watched it all the way through of someone attempting to put a jack-o'-lantern and just submerge the entire thing in resin.
Okay.
I think it rotted.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
To try to preserve it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you'd certainly
Yeah.
reduce all the outside influences.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
But that's similar to my brother's experiment with McDonald's French fries. Anytime you opened the lid, it introduced mold, but after you closed the lid, 2 days later, the mold was dead.
oh, that's fascinating.
I know. Those
So-
McDonald's French fries lasted far longer than should be scientifically possible, which really makes you wonder about eating them. But we're getting adrift from Halloween.
And
I mean,
they
I suppose
would-
it's
yeah.
horrific.
It-
It is horrific, so it's
We're
on
supposed to
theme.
be
You could work
decorating.
with it. Yeah,
Decorating.
decorating. All right,
Decorating.
so
Well, jack-o'-lanterns are the perfect mix between
That's
food
true.
and decoration.
That's
so.
true.
and you can use them in indoor, outdoor, however that goes. You can. What else can we do with the indoor decorations?
Indoor decoration. Wait, where's the goofiest decoration in here? I think it's in the front. Was the carrot candles?
Yes, that was
See
a
if I can
good
find
one.
those. That was. I don't know.
Well, and there's like in this, picture here, they've got like pictures in, frame boxes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ma. Those are carrots.
That really is creative.
Yes.
Yeah. Slip bat ring. Yes. Hello, Andy. Cluster the trio of candlesticks onto a tabletop buffet or mantle for the bats to gather in style.
Wow.
Makes me
Right?
wonder who wrote the copy for this.
Well, like in this one, they've got, kind of like jars that they've turned upside down
yeah.
and put some different decorations and things in. And then you go here to the next page, and the way that they've used that wood and branches,
Yeah.
to be able to kind of twist and turn. And, it's kind of the fun thing of just what can you do with what you have,
Right.
and,
There's a really interesting decoration material that's probably realistically out of reach for the average consumer. But have you ever heard of a cobwebbing gun with hot glue?
I don't think I have.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Cobwebbing.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You
No,
can tell he has.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I
yes.
worked at a
He
haunted-
probably has one.
I worked at a haunted house. They had things
I
I
would
would never
have
own.
one.
Yeah.
No, a cobwebbing gun is. I don't remember how many of them. Josh, Google it for me.
Okay.
I don't know how many of them are commercially available, but I definitely saw one that was cobbled together, which was in an industrial hot glue like gun. So you've got like molten plastic, dangerous.
Yes.
But then behind the stream of molten plastic is a high-powered webcaster gun. Okay, it's a high-powered stream. Yeah, it's a hot glue gun. It's a high-powered stream of air. So
Interesting.
they were using it in. There's a
there's
cobweb
like a-
machine. There's like a fan.
Yeah.
So they were webbing an entire room.
Oh, wow.
And so you get the plastic, and everyone knows what hot glue filaments look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, just imagine like thousands of them,
Yeah.
right? Little stringy. Yep. Is this showing up on our stream here, Josh? As you're pulling it up on the.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Whoa, there's a fan. How to make a DIY cobweb web shooter.
Here's
That's
an
a
arts
big
and crafts
fan.
for you.
Right? Yeah, you've got a power drill and a. Just get to the end. I want to see the final product.
Yeah.
Like, what's it look like when it's done? Oh well, that's the final result.
Yeah.
What's the
Here
machine look like
Let's
though?
see.
There you go.
Is he using a? I just want to see. I want to see the gun.
Yeah, he's not showing
Is he
it.
using a? Is he using a heat gun?
It looks like he's pouring it. He's pouring.
That's not
pouring
hot.
it in that jar.
That's
that
not
looks
hot
like
glue.
No, that looks
Yeah.
like rubber cement.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
what that is.
Yeah, that's not. And then he put a hole in the bottom of that
Yep.
container.
And then
And
he's
he's gonna put it
blowing
to
it.
the-
Oh, with a drill.
Whoa!
This
So
is
that
your-
might trump your.
This is your
thing.
remote hot glue.
Yeah.
gun. You don't need to be plugged in.
Wow, that's
That's something.
holy
Okay,
smokes!
there we
There
go.
it goes. Okay. I mean,
All you really need to know at this point is what
be a menace in your neighborhood.
Wow.
Okay.
all you need to know is what chemical he put in that Tupperware
Yes.
thing at that point. if we can put the URL to that in our video.
Yeah,
Wow. But that's really like within reach of somebody to make, though. I mean, it's a drill, it's a Tupperware thing. You'd have to go buy a fan, I suppose.
Right.
The fan blade, yeah.
The fan blade, yeah. So when I saw it done, I'm fairly certain it was hot glue.
Yeah.
But they webbed an entire room, and they webbed the bejeebies out of it.
Yeah.
So that the goal was, by the time we're done, you couldn't actually walk through the room without like So we had to there's words. We'd have people carve tunnels through it because like where the walkway was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder, you could probably do something webcaster gun versus webcaster gun. How does that
this
work?
is actually like the hot glue.
That's like a commercially available version? Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. It's connected to a blower. That makes me so happy. I feel like this is like the Tim Allen of Halloween is what this feels like. Like, connect your shop vac to your hot glue gun.
Yeah, and then testing.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, rubber cement spiderweb gun. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just, very nice.
I guess they both kind of.
The commercially available product that gets you I don't know if it's a similar result, is the cotton. Cotton spiderwebs.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that those are environmentally not friendly. Because if it's sticky. That's awesome.
Okay.
Doesn't cotton come from the environment?
The cotton stuff is environmentally because of like if you put it outside, critters might like eat it, and it's like not good for them or something.
Yeah. Now they might eat it, or we've actually seen them eat it.
I don't know. This is speculation.
So it's just a might. They might take it to their nests and have warmer nests.
Oh, there you go.
Because it's cotton.
Right. There you go. Put it out for the birds.
It may help them.
Actually, might know what they should and shouldn't eat. I don't know. It just there's
so here's something I'm thinking about doing this year, but I might be too lazy.
Inside or outside?
Outside.
Okay.
So
because I've turned to the outside part.
Okay, perfect. Well, then that's.
And Lucas,
well, let him go first. But I've got
Lucas is also telling us, with all this, what he's going to be doing outside. Right?
I know what he's going to be.
Yeah,
doing
right.
outside.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not actually doing. I've got anyway.
Okay, so a few years ago, I slowly invested over a couple of years and built up a nice outdoor Christmas light set.
Okay.
But it's completely controllable and it can be any color you want.
So this is not reindeer. This is just lights on your house.
These are literally lights on the house.
There's lights on the house. Yeah, my neighbor has a set.
You could make them you can make them red, white, and blue. Like you could do whatever. And so
they're like remote controllable LEDs, multicolored. Yeah.
These are called twinkly, and what they let you do is you can map them. So you take your phone, and once you put them all up, you map them, and then you could make like a stripe. So if you want to make like a candy cane stripe, it could go across the whole house like in sync, which is really cool. Okay. Regardless where. Anyways, I've always thought, you know what I ought to do? I ought to put the lights up October 1, and then they'll be there for Christmas. But then for Halloween, do like Halloween orange season. And like
now
creepy
is this
looking
like a
kind of things
net
like that.
Of lights where you can get like an image, or are they just in like the gutters or something?
So they sell nets, but what I do is we have these two columns on our porch, so I wrap them, and then I do like the icicles across the top, and then I run those across the whole thing, and I just put a decent amount in the trees and everything. Okay. But yeah, for Halloween, I don't think it would look like Christmas lights. I think if they I could make them look like a flame.
Oh, you did like red and orange or something?
Yeah. Nice. Now, in my neighborhood, like literally September 1, our neighbor started putting out a spider web, and we got the big
mine too
things and all that. So like I'm not going to beat my neighbors, but
because they're already out
with my Christmas lights turned orange. But at least it's an idea if you have those kinds of lights.
There's a house over in Staten, and it's got a huge wraparound porch, and the entire house has just been turned into like a graveyard.
Oh, wow.
It's impressive what they have done.
Yeah. And I think one of the fun things, this is going to Christmas, but it's the same principle. I really loved like helping my grandparents when they would be like, oh, we're going to now decorate and get out the stuff. And like, I could see like that could be really fun if that's like a thing your family does is, hey, we're going to convert our yard into a graveyard. I mean,
right.
Some parents may think that's creepy or not want to do it, but some may be like, that's cool.
Well, yeah, like this is all for your taste. You may be into candle carrots or graveyards. I mean, take to your tastes.
And there are so many cool things that you can do. I saw a TikTok the other day of a lady who was making she was making basically kind of not a cauldron, but kind of like a fire pit that had a skull and bones in it, and it had lights in the bottom of it that were red. And she did this very quickly and with very cheap types of things, like spray foam and things.
Oh gosh, the wonders of spray foam.
Oh my gosh, yeah. When she turned it on in the dark, I mean, this looked like it was a bed of coals.
Oh, spray foam and red lights.
Yeah, it was very impressive what she had done. And, if being crafting and doing things like that is something you like to do, you might have kids that, would enjoy being a part of that. And it's one of the fun things of being a parent.
Right. Totally.
Right. And obviously, adjust your crafting expectations to the age of your children. I'm not going to be getting out the power tools, the sharp-edged fan, and the cement glue.
Right.
Cement glue? Rubber glue?
Yeah.
Rubber cement?
Rubber cement.
For my 5-year-old.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just not happening.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to be coloring, pumpkins at the kitchen table with what do they call ultra washable Crayola markers?
Yes.
Right. As opposed to rubber cement.
Well, but what they might be able to do or be a part of is just, even from watching to handing you things to holding things to, they're not going to handle the deadly things.
Right.
But there might be ways to incorporate them depending on what your comfort level is as a parent, like in this picture,
that's probably the cotton webbing.
Oh, yeah.
And
cotton
so
webbing product.
How your kids might be able to help you set things up at a variety of different ages, might be, fun for them. They're not going to reach the high parts unless you lift them up.
Right.
But what?
That is an intensely creepy yard decoration. Now that I'm looking at it,
and it's very simplistic
because it's just it's many yards of white fabric would be the expense there. And what is it styrofoam for the heads?
It could be. I would think so.
What page is that on?
Yeah. It's on the page that it's on.
It's got a number.
22.
Thank you.
On where it's on.
Goodness
well, while he's doing that, I mean, here's a different one where people had...
You know what the heads are?
What are the heads?
A balloon.
A balloon. Oh. See, there you go. It's even cheaper.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that one's not so creepy. That's more...
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there's
friendly.
the pumpkin in the corner.
And you could change it if you wanted to do more Harvest Festival than you did Halloween.
Right.
It'd be really cool, next year if we scan these in first and then we'll just bring them up.
Yeah.
But, now when you have a witch that just takes a bad landing, you've got that. And then you've got the spiders on the web on the side.
Right.
For the more, again, this is I've worked at a haunted house. I've seen some of the more industrial stuff. So this version of a garden stake covered in cloth. Whoop, get the glare off of it. It's a good idea. Also, if you create any kind of humanoid, I want to say skeleton, but armature, if you put some kind of heavier fabric and then you spray it with rhino lining bed liner.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
That'll make that thing permanent, right? And you could have a Grim Reaper floating cloak.
Right.
We had one of those, and that thing hardens up like a rock, right? And it's waterproof and the whole business. Everything is paper mache.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything is paper mache. Like the webbing is practically and then rhino lining and burlap is paper mache. And then what was the other thing I was thinking of? They show plastic skeletons, right? So I don't think there's any examples of what I'm thinking of, but in the corner here, there's a plastic skeleton. One of the things that you can do with plastic skeletons is if you get a saran wrap, like a plastic cling film, loosely wrap that around any kind of bone skeleton thing that you have.
Yeah.
And then use a heat gun. The plastic will shrink, and then you'll get zombified flesh clinging to your bones. And you can use the heat gun to shrink the just a saran wrap. And I mean, leaving it like that could probably look like spidery if it was clear, but then you can spray paint it.
Like some real Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah, I mean, and then the level to which you do it, right? The more you
effects.
add, or
Yeah.
I saw somebody do that. I'm like, and again, it's relatively cheap, right? You could buy a heat gun from Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
Saran wrap plastic skeletons. You could do it for relatively inexpensive, and then speaking depending on the skill level of your kids, I'm just okay. Okay, see, I'm not the one coming up with the only one coming up with the spooky ideas. I don't know if you can see that. Right here in the corner of this picture, there's like a finger. Webbed up like human body covered in spiders with a skull at the bottom.
Oh, that's a little creepy. Oh,
Did you see that one?
Yeah, that's creepy.
That was a good one.
And see, there is the thing I've seen like the articles where like people are calling like 911 because they see
a decoration,
something, and it turns out to just be.
Did you see the spider that's in there too?
There's a spider clinging to the body.
No, well, yes, but right up here with the folds.
Oh, there's a big spider on the side of the house.
Spider.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
my neighbor has one of those.
Putting that, into.
I've definitely been startled by some of the humanoid figures. Whatever it is, and at the corner eye, you look and you go,
Oh, yeah. Well, we were backing out Sunday, and my wife said, that's creepy. And I looked over, and 2 houses down, our neighbor on their porch had basically like a little human skeleton just sitting on the edge like that.
Oh, just like sitting there.
And from the front, it looks a certain way, but the side profile was just like, that is.
And they'd like put it clothes on it or something?
Yeah, it's just there, yeah.
One of my clients has a variety of plastic skeletons, and she said most of them are relatively small. Yeah. So she goes, they look like children.
Oh, yeah.
So she has some like adult-sized skeletons and then like some littler ones, and you can use the little ones for all kinds of things. But yeah, outdoor decorations. There's obviously the classic graveyard stuff. Putting up, whatever it is. I guess I want to say you put Rip Van Winkle on your tombstone, but that's mixing not quite the right words. No. Tombstones say Rip, and then Van Winkle was just a guy who took a nap. So that's not what we're going for.
Long nap.
Right, but he wasn't dead. So wrong holiday there.
Hey.
Well, do we have anything else for this particular edition of rambling
Rip
podcast?
Van Winkle may. Just be
is that our good ending?
That may be the end cap to this episode.
So maybe not reading Rip Van Winkle at Halloween, but maybe it would be the Headless Horseman.
That would be. I don't know if I've read the original on that.
Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got. We never even really got into that literature.
Right.
Could be
part
of that.
I like that. Like reading. Yeah. Again, age appropriate. I'm thinking I have a 5-year-old, so no.
Right.
Although, what's the Halloween thing that we've been reading?
We just got at our house Thomas and the Missing Pumpkins or something.
Perfect, right.
So
much more,
and the Great Pumpkin.
Yeah, which is appropriate for our 2-year-old versus Thomas and the Missing Skeleton Remains, or Thomas and the Crematorium. Yeah.
Thomas and the Crematorium. And cut.
Yeah. So, we hope we gave you some ideas today. I think we did. I think there's some good
there's some
there.
ideas in there. I don't know if any of them. Okay, the rubber cement fan power drill is an idea I'd never even seen before. So thank you, Google, or whoever came up with that.
And we take no responsibility for what happens when you try this at home.
Please do follow all of your local state and local regulations and call 911 in the event of an emergency.
Please do.
Yeah, these are trained. These are not trained experts.
Right.
These are not trained. These are a couple of just guys on the internet.
Just
so
enjoy.
Please don't.
Yeah. Entertainment purposes only. That's what they all say, right?
Entertainment purposes only.
So, hey, thanks for joining us. We'd appreciate it if you would subscribe and like us, and definitely make sure to follow us on social media because we're posting some different Halloween arts and crafts and things that you can do with your kids. So if you're not following us on Instagram or Facebook, I don't think we use rubber cement, but we use googly eyes.
Your studio would not have liked us.
It would have not liked that. So definitely check that out. We'll see you on the next episode.
And tune in next time.
Where we will say good evening.
Wow.
We're both trying to tune in.
Wow. Okay.